Hello, party people. I just want to share this email I wrote to someone. I guess because they she's sort of my inner circle, so to speak. Anyway, this is me reading the email that I sent to her. Hello, so and so. I know this might not be your area of expertise, but I take solace in the fact that at least someone will read these words. I should probably consult so-and-so, my clinician and social worker. However, waiting for an appointment as time passes doesn't exactly bring confidence into my views about the American healthcare system. Haha. It started in December of 2019. My most quote-unquote recent girlfriend and I broke up because I decided I didn't want to have kids. If there was a 99.9% chance of not having my kids inherit whatever it is that is quote-unquote wrong with me, then I would not risk that 0.1% chance. I do not want someone I bring into this world to have as hard a life as I have had, at least psychologically and mentally speaking. When the pandemic hit, I was the only one in the household to have an uncompromised physical immune system. Basically, I lived at the supermarket, and I lived with 3 at-risk people. There was a time I could name you the aisles in order of the local supermarket. When the pandemic was over around approximately 2021 or whenever, I looked back and I said, okay, mission accomplished. Nobody died. So I thought I was now going to continue the next chapter of my life. I had some friends in Colorado, and they offered to let me crash in their home until I got situated. Needless to say, I was very optimistic. I talked about it with my father, who was concerned how hard it was to find a job anywhere. My mother came home and heard us talking. She told me something that was going to change the next 4 years of my life forever. She asked me to stay. She said she needed help taking care of my father, who was deaf, and my older brother, who was recently diagnosed with MS. So, how was I supposed to react to this? So I was supposed to say no and just leave? What the fuck was I supposed to say? And Chinese family, what the fuck was I supposed to say? The next 4 years rolled along, and I turned 40 years old in July of 2024. Not even considering how difficult it is to meet someone when you're near 40 years old and living with your parents, I had hoped she would change her mind. After seeing that nothing catastrophic happened and everyone was fine, she still did not waver. So at this point, I'm figuring that I'm probably not leaving here until both my parents and or my brother pass away from any combination of reason or reasons. I decided to try to make the best out of a bad situation. I started looking for work, I saved my money, I bought a car, and paid it off easily. To make a repetitive and historic story short, I needed a phone or translator to talk to my parents. Why they thought it would not be important for anyone to be able to talk to their parents, I'll never know. But there's nothing I can do about that from 1984 to 2021. They didn't think learning English or having any meaningful communication in general was important. The question among myself and the extended family was always proposed to me as this: why don't you learn Cantonese better or at all? I replied with the same answer every time: I didn't ask for this life. So what I really want now is impossible. I want the past 4 years of my life back, from both my old workplace and the current workplace. I spend all day listening to other people's problems. The last thing I want to do is when I come quote unquote home, is listen to other people's problems. I don't understand why that is so hard to understand. I'll give an example of an interaction I literally just had with my father about an hour ago. He criticized the car I paid 100% for that it had a scratch on the front bumper. My reply was, how does that affect how the car drives, and the fact that it's a 2023 electric car with less than 14k miles? If the car was hot pink and drove perfectly, then yes, I would drive it. What does the way a car looks affect its safety or handling? But I wasn't able to express any of that to him, because I did not have my phone and Google Translate handy. And that has broken my heart, since I became aware that our family was different than my mom's or dad's sides of the families. They grew up with other Asian people. I grew up with black and white kids. I was never black enough in Bridgeport. I was never white enough in suburban Milford. Getting back on track though, my father criticized the car I purchased in his own way, and I did the full extent of how I communicate with him when a machine isn't available. I looked at him and nodded. That is the envious state of communication I have with my parents. And then this happened. After the tirade, he had the audacity to ask me for me to help him order something. I have no idea what kind of people skills those are, but that is not the proper and respectful way to ask someone for help. How grown adults don't know this, I will never understand. Moving away from that, since there was clearly no resolution or compromise from anyone, including myself, some of my degenerate friends have asked me, why would you not want to just collect disability and not work? I'm not even sure I should dignify that with a response. They told me that I could always quit if I didn't like it. I said to them, because they're not expecting me to quit. People worked hard to get me this job. My immediate supervisor talked about it. She fully understood when I told her that I see myself working here for a minimum of a year because I do want the experience. I remember having a brief conversation with someone else about this. My supervisor's dream is to run or work a dog rescue. I expressed that my dream job was to be a successful online streamer, haha. My supervisor's dream is probably more realistic than mine, haha. Going back to the more serious tone of this email. I will always wonder what these past 4 years of my life would have been like if I did just get up and leave. I don't mean to sound too dramatic, but when I look at my personal and romantic life, I always rationalize it with myself, and even better, I feel better when I say, I had a good run. I've been in 13 serious long-term relationships. I've had 13 sexual partners. Those numbers are the same for good reason, by the way. Basically, I'm not a hoe. Haha. I know it's partly not a good way to look at my life and make it seem like it's over. I'm just tired of doing the right thing and being shit on about it. I want these past 4 years of my life back, and I need to accept that's not possible. My mind wanders though. Even though during the pandemic I was the most physically fit and healthy, I wonder if even to this day, if I am the most unstable mentally. Well, I'll hear from you tomorrow. Take care of yourselves and each other.